I'm with you, there's no one else around. Yeah, I'm so high, gravity can't hold me down. Imagine faith and hope so alive. You got me feeling so good, 'cause baby, you're like the sun flying high on a blue sky, shining bright into the night. The stars sparkling down, yeah, diamonds and gold can't compare to your world. It's somewhere far beyond heaven and earth.
Hello, I am Leslie Nesmith, and this is Me, Myself, and Liberty. Today I am talking to Don Spencer. He is the president of the Oklahoma Second Amendment Association, and he is a certified certified instructor, licensed armed security officer, and a lifetime resident of Oklahoma. And he's actually the one who wrote House Bill 2597 along with several others. So, House Bill 2597, also known as constitutional carry or permitless carry, passed the House 70-30. So I want to hear about this. I want to know about this bill, and I want to know who didn't support it.
Well, let's start with the bill itself. Last week, it passed out of committee 9-2. It's already heard and passed out of the House this week 70-30. This is a train that is high speeding down the rails, and so it's more like not just get out of the way, but you better get on board if you're going to hang with this. It's in the Senate now, and the Senate has not even had the opportunity to hear the first version of their constitutional carry bill. So I want to thank House leadership, John Eccles, also Speaker of the House McCall. This type of stuff does not happen unless you have great coordination with a lot of people working really hard to get there. So, so you had a question in that?
Well, so who didn't support the bill? I'm interested in that. I want to out these people.
I have a vote tally right here. The
All
Republicans, the Republicans that voted against this bill are Carol Bush of Tulsa, Trey Caldwell of Comanche County, J.D. Nolan of Tulsa, Daniel Pay of Comanche County, John Talley of Cushing, Oklahoma, and Representative Worthen of Comanche County, Oklahoma. Now we have the Comanche trifecta, or triangle is what we're calling it. It's amazing. 3 Republican representatives from that district decided that, you know what, we need to go against the will of the Constitution, the will of the people. And even Daniel Pay had signed a survey, OK2A survey, stating he would support the constitutional carry, and he had also signed the same one with the with the Rifle Association, National Rifle Association. So he went back on his word, and people need to be made aware of this. But like I say, I tell people a lot of times, if this doesn't get passed, you have no one to blame but Republicans.
That's right.
Now, it was really good to see that 70 of them held together. They realized it was important and stuck with it, and just like I say, rocket launched this thing over to the Senate. And we were working with the Senate leadership to get this thing heard as soon as possible. So,
well, that's exciting, and shame on those legislators that voted against what we, the people, want.
I will add also, not a single Democrat voted for the bill, which does not surprise me. The Oklahoma Democrats, when I first started this in 2010, you could get 4, 5, 6, 7 to vote and support a gun bill. But as of last year and this year for constitutional carry, there's not been support for it.
That is just ridiculous. So explain to the people what the difference is between constitutional carry and permitless carry.
Okay, this is a good question, and people, it's even on our OK2A stuff, people are freaked out about this, and it's not worth getting that excited about. Constitutional carry is the title, but it's actually the purest form of the title. So if it's constitutional carry, we think that the only limitations that could possibly be is if you're in jail, prison, or a detention facility. That's the only places you would not be able to have a weapon or a firearm. So basically, permitless carry is accurate because you're being able to carry without a permit, but there still are restricted areas that you can't carry into, such as university properties, school properties, the same prison, jails, detention facilities, and then other federal protected areas also. So that's the difference between the two. But gosh, let's don't spend our time getting hung up on that. We call it constitutional carry because ultimately that is our goal. Permitless carry is just the interim step there. So that's kind of why we've stuck with that.
Okay, so how do you respond to people that say Oklahoma is going to become the Wild West?
I would have said it would have already happened a long time ago because they promised that was going to happen in 1995 when we had concealed carry, and they were so disappointed. They promised it was going to happen in 2011 when I helped get passed so you could leave your gun in your car to VOTEC, that they'd be stepping over bodies getting into the VOTEC. They promised it was going to happen in 2012 when we passed open carry. And they keep making these promises, and it's just empty. It just
no bodies in the streets. The parking lot.
Well, if there's bodies in the streets, it may be people we did want there because they weren't supposed to be doing their, But anyway, it's a grotesque overstatement, exaggeration that is brought on by people that simply are uninformed, uneducated, and just scared of what our Constitution actually stands for.
Well, and some people may not realize this, but we do have permitless carry. We do have constitutional carry in Oklahoma right now.
It would be great if it would just apply to our residents.
To us.
You would think, and here's the sad part, and you can't blame really anybody in this generation because this actually started in 1907. 1907, the original law actually says, and it's still on the books today, it shall be unlawful for any person to carry upon or about his person or in a purse or any other containing belonging to the person any pistol, revolver, shotgun, or rifle, whether loaded or unloaded. That's been the law since 1907. So we're finally breaking 112 years of this. So we'll go from there.
Well, and there are 14 other states currently with permitless carry, and they can carry here in our state. And there aren't bodies in the streets. I find that interesting.
Right. So it's a bunch to do about nothing.
That's right. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Hey everybody, Todd Tucker here, and everyone who knows me knows I love to read a great book, and right now I'm reading this incredible novel by local author Richard Engel. All you have to do is go to LastAmericanPresident.com and say big right now on this book. The Last American President is a story about political intrigue, romance, betrayal set against the backdrop of the dissolution of the United States of America. It's great reading, and when you go to LastAmericanPresident.com, LastAmericanPresident.com, use the promo code OTU, you're going to save money. And not only that, but half the price comes back to OTU. So half the proceeds from this book come back so you can watch great programming like you see on the OTUmedia network every day. LastAmericanPresident.com. I highly recommend this book. Read it today.
All right, I'm back here with Dawn Spencer, and we are talking about our new bill that's going to hopefully be passed, the constitutional carry or permitless carry. But if you like the content that we offer here on OTU Media, I'd like to encourage you to please go to patreon.com/OTU Media and support us financially. You can do $1, you could do $5, and if you really want to do $500, we'll be all right with that. So support us, help us get the message out. All right, Dawn. So we're talking about constitutional carry, permitless carry, and the House bill that passed, the House Bill 2597. And I polled some of our audience, and I have some questions for you. I know you're ready for this.
Would you like to just do a quick what the bill does do? And
Yeah,
what it does
yeah.
not?
You do that,
Okay,
and then
folks, so keep in mind, the state of Oklahoma shall not be infringed. Here we go, 37 pages of just for one bill. Okay, so that shall not be infringed. That's where it's gone to. But what the bill does is a person that is 21 years of age, that is a citizen of the United States, can carry in the state of Oklahoma, provided they're not a felon, have a domestic abuse conviction, or adjudicated as mentally incompetent. So basically, if you can legally purchase a firearm, you can legally carry it. This also applies to 18-year-olds and up if you're active duty military. So that's basically it. As far as private property rights, nothing changes. If you go into a restaurant and they say you can't carry it, it's the same law saying you need to leave. As far as higher education or any school property, if you cannot carry it there now, you can't carry it without the license either. So higher education, you're still not going to be able to carry there. You're still going to carry on a public or private school, Votex, so on and so forth. So it doesn't change. It doesn't change where you can carry. It just changes that you can carry without a permit, provided that you can legally purchase a firearm. And that's it in a nutshell.
And basically, if you can't carry now, you can't carry with the new bill.
Correct.
And the only exception to that is the military aspect.
The military is the only aspect that's probably
which makes
change.
sense.
Right.
So if people serving in our military who can die, who cannot currently carry a gun, which makes absolute no sense at all. So, all right. So we're going to get to the questions from the audience. Now, why is training not required for this?
There is no prohibition about training. In fact, I don't even think the word training even actually appears in this part of the Self-Defense Act, which I really find is kind of interesting, because what we want to do is we want to be able to carry to defend ourselves, right? But where do those thugs go to get their training?
Yeah.
I'm a cleat certified instructor. I never see those guys at the range, but somehow they manage to create mayhem. And so my point quite simply is why can't a law-abiding, peaceful citizen be able to do the same as far as self-defense and legally and peacefully? Training, oh my gosh, you can learn anything online nowadays. Also, with the $200 or $300 that you would use to buy a license with, now you can actually use $200 or $300 to get legitimate bona fide training if you want to go through a certified firearm instructor. But I mean, my dad taught me how to keep from shooting my foot. My dad taught me to keep my finger off the trigger till it was time to pull it. And so there's so many of these things that we're not asking people to be cops, and they're acting like everyone's got to be a SWAT member, and that's not what we're asking here. Just the possession of the firearm can thwart a crime when it's presented in a situation. And so that's what we're working on, but you do have to be ready to pull that trigger. And yes, training, I actually call it education, because I've just learned it from so long. I never considered it training as a kid. We've always considered it a tool and not a toy. So that's where I come from. But as far as training, there's some people I've taught for 5 minutes and they had the hang of it down, safely operating. And then there's some people may have 20 years of bad habits that you can't break for nothing.
That's right.
So, but as far as training goes, it's highly recommended. The more educated you are, the safer you are, and we always seek to do that. But folks, we're not dealing with absolute rocket science here either.
It is not rocket science. And I have a theory. So let's get this passed and we'll test my theory. But I believe...
Okay, we'll pass it just for you and your theory.
Just for my theory.
That's right. That's why I'm here.
I think that the gun training facilities are going to be overrun with people getting training once this passes. I really believe that.
I would agree.
So let's test my theory, folks. Let's just pass this thing. That's reasonable.
I agree.
All right. So what firearms are covered in this, and what can people carry?
Well, what was covered in it is it still has the limitation on a pistol to a .45 caliber. We'll deal with that later, folks, but just one thing at a time here. But as far as you in legal possession of a pistol, rifle, or shotgun can be carried open or concealed under this bill.
Okay. Now, this is my favorite question. Won't criminals have more access to firearms?
They have the bill. The bill does not restrict the criminals doing the things that they're already doing now. It's already set in stone that what is illegal and what's not is not. But criminals, we've learned that I think it's over 85% that use a gun in a crime has been stolen. The legally obtaining a firearm for a crime is very low at all. So,
are you saying that felons and crooks, they don't follow the law anyway? Is that what you're saying?
That's kind of why they become felons and crooks. Yes, that's exactly right.
Okay, so that's a common sense. So I actually get that one. I had somebody send me a Facebook message asking, well, they're really concerned that felons are going to there's going to be a gun grab. I don't understand that.
I don't get that either.
Yeah. So, okay. So the next question was, will felons be able to carry? I think we've already addressed that, but I'll let you go ahead and answer.
Legally, no. Will they continue to do it? Who knows? But legally, no, they will not be able to do it, nor will a person that has been convicted of domestic violence, nor will a person that is adjudicated mentally incompetent. So under those situations, no.
Okay. This is a specific one from someone that messaged me.
Okay.
He said, I have a roommate with a felony. Can I carry a gun under this new?
Okay, this is a very tricky question because if you have a roommate and you have a firearm inside your residence and you have a roommate that has a felon, you both have problems.
Yeah.
Neither one of you are supposed to be there. So folks, this law does not change that at all.
And I think we're going to hear that a lot. This really doesn't change a lot of what's already happening. I mean,
all it changes is whether you have to have a piece of plastic.
That's right.
That's
a piece
all
of
it really
plastic.
changes.
A very expensive piece of plastic, by the way. For some people, right now there are people who can't afford to get that piece of plastic. They are highly trained. They're qualified and they're good law-abiding citizens, but they just don't have the funds to get them.
It's always been an unjustified tax on the poor and the minorities, which is the exact same that was done to keep people from voting 60, 70 years ago. So yes, this needs to be repealed, or at least back to an option. If you want to go get a license, great. I highly recommend it. If you travel out of state for reciprocity, to renew your license and or acquire a license.
I agree. Okay, so how will this affect the crime rate? I know this is all rhetorical because we don't know, but we have some pretty good evidence of how it will affect the crime rate.
It's not that rhetorical because we've seen every state that has done this, the crime rate has plateaued, it stayed the same, or even slightly declined.
Yes. And it's funny because the liberal media outlets, they tell quite a different story, that there are bodies in the streets. And
in all fairness, it has slightly improved with some of the liberal media. Here in the Oklahoma City area, Channel 9 has been very fair, and I just ask to be fair. I'm not asking to be biased, just be fair. But some of the other channels aren't quite so much. But it has improved. Radio wants to know more about this. And so there's a slight improvement on that. But overall, in the big picture of things, nah, they don't like us. They don't like liberty.
They don't. Okay, so how will we prevent those with mental health issues from carrying? And I know some people with some mental health issues.
Unfortunately, it's the same way we do right now. Again, nothing changes. If a person has been adjudicated to where they can't legally have the firearm, that doesn't change. How do we prevent a person from doing that? Well, I have to look at it from the other side. I may need a gun because that person is crazy and dangerous and may have acquired a firearm illegally, so I may need to defend myself from that person, and I'm more susceptible to defend the innocent life than the person that is endangering a life. It's terrible. There's no great deal in that situation, but innocent life needs to be defended.
Yeah, and there's not a whole lot you can do about that crazy person who gets their hands on it. That regardless of what the law is. I mean,
Right.
even if all guns were banned everywhere,
Well,
we're still going to have people.
Let's go back to the Louis shooting in Oklahoma City. That guy was a licensed armed security officer. He had been through the MMPI test for a mental evaluation, plus completed the course and got his license. So there's someone that's been through a thorough background, fingerprints and everything, and what stopped him? Oh my gosh, it was a person there, a good guy there.
Two good guys, right?
Two good guys, and neither one of them had a license, an SDA license, because we had passed a bill the year before that they could carry on a valid military ID, and that's what they were carrying on. So people say, everyone needs a license to have training. No, we've got plenty of military. We've got plenty of people that have through all types of training, and we'll even get more that are willing to defend themselves. And as we see, it works, but it just doesn't get the same media attention as if it leads, it bleeds.
Yeah.
Or bleeds, it leads. How it goes.
Okay, so how does that tie to the red flag laws?
Okay, red flag laws. Let's go ahead and identify exactly what it is. Red flag laws are an incredible violation of your constitutional rights and due process. Someone could say a spouse who maybe you're going through a divorce, and especially with the guys have done this, that they want to get back at their wife or soon-to-be ex-wife. So they'll make a statement that, oh, my wife said she's going to kill me, and I know she's got a gun in her purse. Well, then they have this VPO order go out. Next thing you know, the police are kicking in a door, and this wife has no idea why they're there, and they're there to take her guns, and who knows, maybe even take the kids at that point. There is no due process. Every person has the right to have the opportunity to be in front of a judge and with representation before any right is taken from them. Now, if a judge adjudicates and says, you know what, this guy is crazy, the guy standing there, his attorney standing there, and says, we're taking his guns away, we're good with that. That's fine. We're good with that. But they have to have the opportunity to appear. Now, if a person also chooses not to appear, yeah, you're going to get what you get because you had the opportunity for your due process. So that's what's dangerous about this red flag. It sounds good, but in these cases, and one of our attorneys has done divorce cases, and he'll tell me, Don, there's no good guy with a white hat when it comes to these divorce stuff. That they're just going back and forth. And like a lot of cases we've seen too, if the wife who didn't have a license, but she needed a firearm to protect herself from a crazy husband, this will help her have the opportunity to defend herself.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a very scary and dangerous precedent to set for that reason, because then you're taking away if it is a woman who's been abused and her husband is crazy, he can say she's crazy and have her way of defending herself taken away from her.
Correct. Right.
So scary stuff, guys. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in just a few.
This is Don Spencer. He's with OK2A, and he's the gentleman that wrote the constitutional/permitless carry bill that just passed out of a House committee, Public Safety Committee, and now goes onto the House floor.
Hi, Don.
How are you doing? Good morning, sir.
Good to have you here.
You appreciate it.
Tell us about the bill.
Well, I don't know why it's controversial. It's already a right, so it should not be controversial. It's already been on the governor's desk last year. We're just making sure that the rights are restored back to the people of Oklahoma that should have never been taken away in 1907.
What does it mean?
What the bill means is a person 21 years of age that has never had a felony and that is not convicted of domestic violence or adjudicated as mentally incompetent would be legally, if they can legally purchase a gun, they can legally carry the firearm.
The concern that a lot of us are hearing is they can carry a gun with no training, no license.
Well, if you want to make sure that it's training by a government-certified person, that is accurate. But see, I don't know about you, but my dad taught me how to carry a gun. He told me how to use safety stuff. So people get training. You just don't throw a gun out in the middle of a table, and people just pick up and say, okay, there's no problem here. And actually, you can go online and learn a lot of things before you ever were to walk out to the range, including gun laws and where you can and cannot carry. So it's really an overstatement, because the fact is we're not asking people to be cops. They just want the ability to be able to defend themselves if they feel that they're in the worst case scenario and need to do so.
It doesn't preclude people from training.
No, oh no, and that is one of the misnomers that sometimes shows up in some of the anti-gun rhetoric that goes on with the bill. But the fact is, you have, and it cracks me up, where do thugs get their training? Somehow they manage to create mayhem, and I don't see them at the gun range, and I'm a cleat certified instructor. But they manage to do that, so why can't a peaceful, law-abiding citizen be able to make an effort to defend?
When I'm with you, there's no one else around.
Welcome back. I'm Leslie Nesmith, and this is Me, Myself, and Liberty. And I have Dan Spencer with Don.
He's here somewhere.
He's here. Don Spencer
all right.
with me today. He's the president of the Oklahoma Second Amendment Association. And I do want to remind you that if you love our content here, we need your help and we need your support. If you could go to patreon.com/OTUmedia, we would really, really love you for that. Yes, $1, $2, $5, we'll take it. Support us, help us get the word out. Okay, so we're going to continue our conversation here on the new bill that's going through the process now and will be passed. I believe that it will be passed. I have a list of questions we're going through from the audience, and Dawn is helping us get through this. So, what is the process for anyone buying a gun?
It doesn't change it. Buying a gun is a federal law. It's under your 4473. Nothing changes with this.
Okay. So, will people still need or want a license? Will they?
Yeah, I highly
benefits of that?
recommend still going ahead and obtaining it if you travel out of state, because your reciprocity with your Oklahoma SDA license was with 38 or 39 states. But anyway, I highly recommend it. Also, from my own personal experience, when you get pulled over, officer, I'm licensed for a weapon, I have it on my person, this de-escalates a situation, and quite frankly, has helped me keep from getting tickets because you were just honest with the officer right off the bat. So I highly recommend go ahead and having it and keeping one.
I totally agree with that, and for the reciprocity, being able to carry.
You agree a lot.
I do. I agree with a lot of things that you say.
Liberty.
This is
It's
going to
amazing.
work out really well. All right. So, will this affect reciprocity? So we kind of touched on that. If so, how?
I do want to clear up. A lot of people are thinking, well, since we passed constitutional carry here, a person would be able to carry permitless in other states, and that is not accurate enough to go by. Like Wyoming has constitutional carry, but they only have it for their residents. So you would still need to be licensed to carry in the state of Wisconsin or Wyoming. I'm sorry, that is. But anyway, but I highly recommend it. As far as changing reciprocity, no, there's nothing different that's going to take place other than you do. The SDA program will remain intact. It's still there, and we're actually even working to figure out a way to help get that lowered so more people can afford it.
And another important point to make is obviously, if you're traveling out of state, you need to check the laws of the states that you're traveling to. That is very important. Anytime we just don't go to states where we can't carry. That's just kind of our rule.
I call them communist
yeah,
countries.
if I can't carry there, I don't need to go there. But don't assume. You want to check the laws
Correct.
of the states that you are going to and going through. So okay. So can people carry on school or college campuses and private schools?
Okay, actually, that's going to be two separate questions. So let's go ahead and keep public property versus private property. The public property, you have to have the written permission from the university president before you can carry on there, which is highly, highly unlikely. So don't anticipate that changing. As far as a secondary or elementary school, you can only keep it in your vehicle locked and out of sight. That's in this bill also. As far as private property, there's a different set of rules for that because a private property controls weapons. So it's possible you can carry, but you sure need to make sure you have permission before you ever pull that weapon out of your vehicle to carry. And that comes up to the school, their own school administrator or school board that comes up with that. So that's kind of you need to know. If you don't know for sure, don't carry there.
Yeah, let
me put it that way.
Yes, I totally agree. Again. Okay. So why would a person not have a license now, but carry under the new law?
Why would they?
Okay, yes.
Oh, this is the cool part. It's your constitutional right that's finally being restored in this state. And like I said earlier, it's been gone for over 100 years. It should have never been taken away. And again, also before you do that, make sure you have adequate education and training before you do such a thing.
Yes, and I know I personally have people in my family and friends that currently do not have a license, and they have very valid reasons for not because they're felons or anything like that, but they have valid reasons for not having a license, and some of them it's because they don't want to have a license because it's their constitutional right to not have to have a license.
Correct, and also the people that have come from states like Arizona and Kansas where you got a pulse, you carry a gun, and then all of a sudden you come here and you have all these restrictions. They find that absolutely annoying, especially from Arizona, when you can carry here on your driver's license as being your license, and then you become a resident, and all of a sudden, boof, your right is gone.
Yeah, why would you become a resident?
Which has happened to OK2A members.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so, and this is going to be a little redundant, but you may have something you want to add to this. So what is the difference between current gun laws and the new law? We've talked about that. Is there anything else?
The difference is going to be in the private property rules in this. Basically what we did was we developed the 1, 2, 3 step method. And what happens if you go into a restaurant and they've got the no gun sticker up and you're crazy enough to go ahead and open carry in there, and they say, well, look, you've got a firearm, that's out of our policy, you need to leave. Well, we've made it the law to where you have to be informed that you're in violation of the policy, and then if you still refuse to leave and then a police officer is summoned, that you may go to jail because it would be a misdemeanor trespass crime, when previously we had it as that you may just be written a $250 citation. At this point, folks, if you're stupid enough to stay there, you need to go to jail because you need to respect the private property rights if they don't want you there. Because the fact is, if they don't like your T-shirt, they can make you leave. So if they don't like your gun, they can make you leave. So nothing really changes on that.
Okay. Okay, now this is really what the most important question is here, right? So will this impact state revenue?
Well, I could give a rat's rectum whether it does or not, to be honest. Because
that's a rat's rectum. He could give a rat's rectum.
But yeah, it will impact. I'm sure it'll impact revenue, but it's the negative effect is not going to be as bad as it's about as bad as I'm saying being bodies in the street. They just think that no one will ever renew or get another license, and that's just not accurate. Because you need it for reciprocity for going out of state. And if they did go bust on it, it almost serves them right because they've abused the people of this state for so many years by taking more than the 60 days that's allotted because there was no criminal effect on the OSBI for abusing a citizen. And I have stacks of complaints about that, and that they would not allow a license to go through because they couldn't get the fingerprint to read. Which the statute clearly states if they can't get a clear fingerprint to still go ahead and process the license, and they've abused that for years. So my concern about the OSBI is a classic liberal bureaucracy that has actually used our licensed money to hire lobbyists to be at the state capitol to make sure constitutional carry wouldn't go through. So my sympathy level is I don't give a rat's rectum.
I don't give a rat's rectum either.
Is that a quote?
I do have. We'll have T-shirts made up. I don't give a rat's rectum. Okay, so I have another theory here. So if we just go ahead and pass this law, then we can test my theory, and that is if we pass it, we're going to sell a lot more ammo and firearms.
Oh,
we'll have tax revenue.
It will be great for that, and it'll be good revenue for manufacturing of the firearms. Also, it'll be good revenue.
So this is really going to help the state
Because
far
I
as
don't know about
revenue
you, when I
goes.
go to the gun range, it's not you just walk in and stand at a box. I walk around and see what's new on the shelves.
Oh, yeah.
Every one of these gun ranges just about have a restaurant, and they're doing really good stuff. And some of the ranges here even have 60 lanes, no waiting, and I highly recommend it. But it will be a boon for
Yes.
the firearm industry. Period.
Yes, it certainly will. Okay, so why are some lawmakers opposed?
Because they don't understand the Constitution. And I just want to say this too about OK2A. We are not merely a gun group. We are a liberty group. We just happen to realize it may take a gun to maintain that liberty. And so legislators that are fearful of this are because they're poorly educated. And I would even go back to the public education system because, like I say, when I was in high school, actually we were in high school. Our principal brought in his shotgun, and we went over some safety stuff. But of course, he had an alternative reason because we knew where some good hunting places were, and he wanted to go with us. But the deal is, it was still an education that took place in a public school. And right now, what happens if you carry a plastic knife into a public school? Oh my gosh, felony up against the wall, turn around.
What if you make a finger gun? Or you take a banana? Seriously, have you heard of this?
I like
kids?
double barrels, so this is
Yeah,
what I
yeah.
do. So it goes back to the culture and the education. Like I say, in Arizona, you got some guy walking down the street with a 45 on each hip, but everybody's like, whatever. In Oklahoma, since it's so new to our culture, and that's why I was such a big proponent for open carry in 2012, because I knew if people saw good people carrying guns and nothing happening, that this would eventually lower that fear. And we've already seen it because, I mean, I've been out on the street open carrying or whatever, and cops walk by and not say a thing because it's no big deal.
Yeah.
So I don't anticipate that changing too much.
Okay. So when passed, I'm not going to say if passed, when passed, when would this new law take effect?
Okay, I will say if passed because we still got to go through a Senate and it's still uphill.
Don, this is where we've got to disagree.
Well, I'm an optimist. I'm an optimist. But,
You're a realist.
But I also
yeah.
know how this place works up there in 23rd and Lincoln. But it would go into effect November the 1st of this year if when Governor signs it. And thank you, Governor Stitt, for that tweet you sent out just this week,
we've got to
stating
put
that,
up.
reaffirming that you get it on my desk and he's going to ink it. And like I say, we really appreciate the governor for doing it.
Oh yes, and if you haven't, you need to share his post, his tweet. Share it and reshare it. That is huge that we have.
Set the internet on fire.
We have a governor with cojones to say such a thing and actually do it because he'll actually do it.
He and I have had several conversations. I never had any doubt that he was just a man of his word. I don't have any doubt that he would change that. And if he does, woe to him. But I just don't anticipate it.
Yeah. Okay. So, a few more questions from the audience. My SDA license, not mine, but someone's, expires soon. What should I do?
I would still go ahead and renew it, just because, like I say, for the reciprocity purpose. Also, this works out for me, and unfortunately, in society we are in the States, sometimes you need a second ID that's state issued. And I use mine all the time for those types of things, too. So, folks, it does have some advantages to it. I'm working on the licensing part, on the new part, to remove the fingerprinting requirement because that's 95% of the hang-ups on getting that done. You can buy a gun without giving up a fingerprint. You should be able to carry the gun without having to give a fingerprint. So hang in there with us. If you like what we do at OK2A.org, I would recommend keep an eye on our Facebook page and stuff, and we can help keep you informed on these things.
Yes, and exactly. And I know we're going to talk about this a little bit more here in a minute, but that's another effort to get behind is the OK2A and joining, like becoming an actual member.
No, those guys are crazy.
I know, they're crazy.
They're crazy.
They are.
But it
cowboys, all of them.
We are grassroots because I don't know if I described or not, but the Moms Demand Action and the Everytown, that's AstroTurf. They're paying lobbyists to come in here with that Bloomberg money to come here and work against your rights. But if you want to meet people that love liberty, not just this group, but show up at OK2A meeting, and you can go to our Facebook page and get on our email list and keep it involved in what's going on with it.
All right, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that when we come back from our break.
Just for our own purposes.
Cool.
That's it. Just getting video anywhere we can be. So, all right.
Why do you got all those guns?
I just got one gun.
Oh.
Yeah.
With just several clips?
Yeah. Never know when you need more. Oh, there he is. All right. That's who we're waiting on right there.
Okay, cool.
Thanks. Hi. We wanted to ask a question.
Yeah, we tried to meet you in the lobby. I don't think we caught you in time.
No, probably not. So we're from out of state, and they don't allow you to carry any firearms in a police lobby. Do you guys allow that here in this state?
Yeah, I don't think there's any issue as far as
Okay.
I know carrying it in our lobby. I didn't see any signs that we had posted, so.
Okay, good, good. Y'all have never had any issue with it, because the state where I come from just thinks that if you were to allow that, the world would end. You know, that they would be having shootouts in the police
yeah, we
lobby.
have an open carry, so
Yeah.
through our state. What state are you from?
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. Yeah,
Yep.
I don't know any of the laws there, but.
Yeah, it's funny, you know, you have to have a license in Oklahoma to carry, but somebody from Kansas can come down there without a license and carry.
Oh, really? I didn't know
Yeah,
that
they
either.
respect that.
So
Yeah.
they grandfathered in basically
Yep.
for the Kansas open carry law?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. But we can't open carry, or, well, we can't constitutional carry down there.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody from Kansas goes down there, they can carry without a license, but we can't. So I was just calling and get an interview with you guys real quick about, have you had any problems with permitless gun carry?
I haven't run into it.
Yeah. You haven't either, huh? Okay.
None whatsoever.
Good. So we'll go back. I've got a news channel down there, News Now OKC, and you know, we'll put y'all on there saying that, because they think that if you we almost had permitless carry last year, or this year actually, earlier in the year, and the governor vetoed it because she just didn't think it was safe. Okay. And you've got the same thing up here, and it's safe up here, not having any issues. And we've been to several police departments who say the same thing as you.
Where have you been
no
so
issues. Where was that? Wichita? Didn't we go to Wichita? We've gone to some in Missouri. We had about 10 stations in Missouri, and they say the same thing. But some of them do have signs, but they have permitless carry in Missouri too. Open
so you're
carry.
just trying to advocate for your,
yes.
You want to change your Oklahoma laws.
Yes.
And by doing this, you want to go to other states' departments
Yeah.
to see if there's been any issues.
That's correct, yep. With the policy that we want down there. We almost had it and the governor vetoed it. Mm-hmm. So that's it, guys.
Okay.
That's what we're up here. All right, thanks. Y'all have a good day.
You too. Be safe.
Sergeant, can I get your name?
Yeah, Sanderson.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Yep.
Yeah.
It's
Welcome back. Well, what did you think of that video? Kind of telling, huh?
It looked just awful. A peaceful, law-abiding citizen interacting with a law enforcement officer, and neither one was worried about either one. I don't know what you do about something like that.
That's just crazy. Just what they're experiencing there in those other states, they almost sounded like they thought it was ridiculous that Oklahoma, they could come and carry in our state and our own citizens can't.
That and just being able to peacefully walk into a lobby of a law enforcement agency there. and it's perfectly legal. Yes, we should have that here. Yes, it's on our agenda. Not just so much. It's any unsecured building is what we're working on to increase the carry, but it won't happen this year. It's one massive whale at a time.
Yes. All right. So what other bills should we be following?
Well, ones that take up this year that we've got a lot of focus on, and I think it's Senate Bill 959 with Senator Dom. The question comes up over and over, what about a medical marijuana license and an SDA license? And what the bill does, and we worked with Senator Dom on it, and we're probably going to have a little amendment to it, but basically it makes sure that if you've got that piece of plastic that says you have an SDA license and you've got that piece of plastic that says you have a marijuana card, that the OSBI cannot deny you a license to obtain a license or have yours removed from you, or it be a criminal act. So it's really a fine line, and our attorneys don't like us to get too much involved in it, because right now the best way to fix it would be the president to say, okay, we're taking that off Schedule 1, move to Schedule 2. Life would be a lot better for a lot of people across the state, but that right now is the intermediate step for us to advance the security of a person that is peacefully has a firearm in their home.
And if they're smoking marijuana, they're probably pretty peaceful anyway.
Oh, no. If you get in between one of those guys going to Taco Bell at 11 o'clock at night, that can be pretty serious. That can be really aggressive. No, I'm being very facetious. No, well, you think about it. You're sitting at home, and if someone has a glass of alcohol, it's not the end of the world by any means. If someone's on a prescription even, as long as they're not acting crazy on it, it should not matter. I do agree, and one of the concerns is, and it's legit, is how do you keep someone from DUI on it? I think the industry is going to answer that at some point. I don't know if it'd be a breathalyzer. I don't know what it would be, but something's going to come up, because obviously that is a legitimate concern. You don't want someone impaired driving under any type of an influence of any type of an alcohol or prescription. So that's just some of the things that we're going to have to just ease into and see what other states are doing and move forward with it.
What other bills are there? Is it?
Well,
I know that you've got a whole list of bills.
OK2A at our request had 38 bills introduced this year. Only 38. So
you're not doing anything, are you?
Yeah,
you're just sitting around on your hands doing
this little constitutional carry thing is not taking up any time.
Don sits at home at night doing nothing.
But what we also have is introduced is it's called our proof of burden bill. Last April there was a judge in Tulsa. Judge LaFortune decided that no person has the stand your ground immunity until the Criminal Court of Appeals says so. Well, that's terrible, because that means you can sit in jail for 3 years waiting for the criminal court's appeal to decide, oh yeah, you were innocent to begin with, have a nice time. This is absolutely absurd. We have language in there to address this and to make sure that the burden of proof is immediately on the prosecuting attorney. If he does not have it, your case is dismissed by that first judge and it's over with, which is what it's supposed to be. That's one of them. Also, another bill we have, we call it a public trust bill. You've noticed that some of these areas that are a public trust, which would be a zoo, some of these new huge parks that are going in, they get public dollars on public property, and they're claiming, oh no, we're a business, so therefore we can prohibit guns. And we're saying, no, that doesn't work if you're taking in that much, if you're taking in public money on public property. No, it is public property. The public should have the right to defend themselves there on that property. So that's another bill we're addressing. Let's see, we had a bill passed this week. I call it the bar bill.
Hey, the bar bill.
It's called the bar bill. What it is, and especially in several states, we've seen attacks on innocent people in bars who are peacefully doing whatever they're legally allowed to there. But the problem is, in Oklahoma, an employee of a bar cannot legally be in possession of a firearm. So what this does is only the proprietor and only the owner can be in possession of the firearm. So with this, we're hoping it could help keep anything crazy taking place like we've seen in some of these other states by an employee being allowed to carry. It does not allow a patron to be in possession of a firearm or consume alcohol. The bill does repeal, and here's some of Oklahoma's draconian stupid laws, Did you know if you walked into a bar and you had a peacefully carrying a firearm, it is a 2-year felony?
Oh, wow.
I think that's just a bit overstated. So the law literally brings it back. It takes the felony out, and it puts a misdemeanor crime in if the person refuses to leave the bar.
Yeah.
So that's been way overstated. So that's one of the things we're looking at too. Also, we put in an area to clarify, yes, you can carry your gun in a liquor store.
Just don't rob it, right?
Well, and that's what's part of it. That's actually a good point. Liquor store robberies are down so much, and you know why? It's digital money. The cash is just not there anymore. So if someone's going to go and rob it, it's literally for the product.
Yeah.
If it's going to be robbed. So this was an overstatement a long time ago. So we're clarifying that the business owner, whether it be a liquor store or not, has the right to control weapons on that property. So we're clarifying that. So and also there's a goofy spot in law that says if consuming is literally just carrying your alcohol out to your car, which it's already still in the container, and that's an old law, and this will help make that kind of go away. And our attorneys are convinced that this will fix a lot of problems that could happen. DAs aren't out prosecuting people for this, but it only takes one. Mm-hmm. So we're just trying to just make some of these noose holes just as tight as they can be so DAs can't go prosecuting a peaceful person for carrying a gun peacefully.
Okay, so I would think that liberals would just love the OK2A because they're always talking about common sense gun laws. Aren't these common sense?
No.
To me, they're common sense.
Liberals are always liberals, and it's liberalism is always first.
Yes.
Common sense.
It is common sense.
Well, actually,
is out the window.
Common sense is the Constitution. That's why they both begin with a C. So, they've been educated out of the system that this so-called common sense means something else, and we have a lot of words through our society that have completely changed from what used to be good words, now become bad words along that same line. But yes, we've got a whole slew. We actually have another bill that repeals a felony. This will drive you nuts too. Under current Oklahoma law, and it's been like this for over 40 years, if a felon is riding in a vehicle with a person that is in legal, peaceful possession of the firearm, say the driver, the felon could be convicted of another 10-year felony. And here's what the deal is. We have on our board of directors, we have 3 pastors. They go up and they pick people at church, and they're not asking questions. And, if they get pulled over because the taillight's out and there's a felon sitting in the front seat or in the bus, and, the driver's got a gun, that felon's going back to jail, and he has no idea he's done anything wrong.
Yeah.
It's absolutely astronomically unconstitutional.
How did this kind of thing even get on the books?
I know this one. I know this one.
Ooh, Don, answer the question.
Oklahoma has had this philosophy of just lock them up and throw away the key. And look what we've got. We lead the nation in prison overpopulation, women in prison, and blah, blah, blah. And this is the simple, stupid stuff that has led to a lot of that. And the other part is, sometimes felons just need a break.
Yeah.
They've messed up, and they shouldn't be tripped up as a result of it. And that's another bill that goes towards that. We also have another bill. It's called our private courier carry. Places like Uber. Mm-hmm. Uber says, you know what, you work for us, you can't have a gun in your car, and none of your passengers can either. Now, I don't know about you, I'm not frisking passengers to get in a car.
I can tell you I've been in Uber and didn't
shoot anybody, but Uber drivers are being shot, and they want to defend themselves. So this bill is designed that if you own the vehicle, you lease it or own it, rent it, whatever, if you're in control of the vehicle, financially, they cannot prohibit you from carrying a firearm in your own vehicle. Now, I want to make it clear, if it's a business that has their own vehicle that they're putting you in, they can still prohibit you carry. But this is for a person that owns their own. Pizza drivers, help me on here. What else is on that? Pizza drivers, anyone that drives their own vehicle to do their company job.
Well, all these new food delivery services.
Food delivery services, exactly right.
Grubhub and all these
right,
things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this helps and addresses those too. Have we still got time to keep going?
Yeah,
right.
keep on keeping on.
All right.
When he tells me I got to take a break, I'll take a break.
Now, we do have some, we talked about red flag laws. That's a couple of ones we're staying away from. But also, what else is here? Where Oklahoma OK2A is real big on private property. We actually, we call it the 300-pound rat bill. For us in rural areas, feral hogs are incredibly dangerous in what they can do and the damage they can do. And the state of Oklahoma, the Oklahoma Department of Wildlife, thinks that you need to have their permission before you can kill one of these 300-pound rats on your property after dark, which is absolutely absurd. It's absolutely absurd. Governor Fallon vetoed this bill several years ago. We want to put it back on the governor's desk.
What? And I just don't even understand how.
The Oklahoma Department of Wildlife, they do not want to give up power. They think I mean, like I said, for a person that lives in the country like myself, I mean, armadillos tear up my yard and just stuff, and I wish to remove.
Are those armadillos?
Yeah, armadillos.
Armadillos. Okay,
I'm Oklahoma. When you shoot them, they still die just as easy. But that's part of some of the property rights we look out for for people. Like I say, inside your car, your property in your own home. It's not government's job to dictate to you a constitutional right. So that's what we're big about. So.
All right. Well, we're going to take a break, and we're going to come back and talk about OK2A and how we can help you.
Okay.
All right.
Greetings. Salutations. This is Moto with OTUmedia, here to tell you about the latest product on our shelves. If your boyfriend doesn't have a beard, then you have a girlfriend. Do you need a beard growth formula that's radio frequency programmed for maximum bioavailability? Then you need Bud Brothers Beard Co.'s Beard Growth Formula. Find it at the OTU Media store at www.oklahomataxpayersunite.com/OTU-store and continue to support OTU Media and Oklahoma Taxpayers Unite.
Introducing all new, safe, natural relief. A cannabinoid-rich, clarity and focus formula with 17 essential supplements. When it matters most, you've got a job to do. Anxiety isn't an option. Programmed to keep you moving. A product exclusively manufactured for Active Duty RX by Cantech Labs.
Welcome back. If you have enjoyed our content, we do encourage you to please go to patreon.com/OTUmedia and donate. Support us. $1, $5, $100. We'll take it. We need it. I am here with Don Spencer from the Oklahoma Second Amendment Association, and this is the time when you get to just sell yourself to the audience. What can we do to help you?
Well, I don't like to say that I have to sell myself. Just look what we've done. Look what Oklahoma Second Amendment Association has done. This is our 10th year we've been in this. We've had over 90 positive changes in state law. This year alone, there were 38 bills introduced at our request. This stuff does not happen by accident. We have to have support to keep a person like myself at the Capitol, to keep things moving, and also to keep an eye on things, because it's just as easy as we can so-called get stuff passed, they'll try to take it away too, and they're not all Democrats that'll do it. So folks, go to OK2A.org, and you can join for as little as $10. You can be on our email list and be kept informed on what's going on. Also go to our page. And also we have an OK2A discussion group, which is great because we have almost an immediate interaction with people. If they don't, oh, can I carry my gun here, or can I do this and that? And we try to get you not only the answers, but we will quote you the law. So there's no question about where you should be standing on some of this. So that's what we do. Like I said, we need your help at OK2A.org, and I would invite you to come on and join and get involved with us, because that's the only way this stuff is going to happen.
Yep, we got to get involved, people. Let's do it. All right, this is Leslie Nesmith, and this has been Me, Myself, and Liberty. We will see you next time.
When I'm with you, there's no one else around. Yeah, I'm so